From the mist of time, humanity gathered beside great rivers, along the Yellow and Yangtze, hand-shaped earth, fire, and hope into the first breath of Chinese civilization. The ancient tribes sowed millet beneath wide skies. Stone tools struck sparks of progress, and the land began to hum with the rhythm of early life and creation. Scattered villages, symbols were carved upon bone. Through these markings, thought found voice, the first written whispers of what would become an eternal language. Bronze sang in the forges of ancient kings. Ritual vessels glimmered in temples as smoke rose toward heaven, binding earth and spirit in harmony. In these beginnings, a belief grew that heaven watched the earth, and virtue was the bridge between them. Thus was born the mandate of heaven. Philosophy rose with the dawn of reason. From mountain solitude, sages spoke of balance, the Tao, the unseen path guiding all things in silence and flow. In the heart of civilization, Confucius walked among fields and courts, teaching harmony, duty, and benevolence. That order begins not in power, but in the heart. Laozi rode west beneath fading light, carrying words that would outlast empires. That greatness lies not in strength, but in yielding to the way of nature. In silk and ink, the scholars of old captured eternity. Brush and paper became vessels of soul, where each stroke spoke of patience, wisdom, and grace. Among bamboo forests and river stones, the spirit of balance took root. Beauty was not sought but revealed, in stillness, in silence, in the space between. In ancient workshops, bronze gave way to jade, carved by patient hands into dragons, clouds, and endless circles that spoke of harmony between man and the heavens. Walls rose from clay and stone to shelter the dreams of kings. Palaces and fortresses stood as mountains of art, built not only for rule, but for remembrance. The Great Wall began as earth and hope, a ribbon of endurance winding across peaks and plains, a line between worlds, guarding both memory and homeland. In the silence of tombs, terracotta warriors stood eternal guard, each face unique, each hand shaped with care, a silent army waiting for its emperor's call. From the forge came not only weapons, but wonder. Bells, vessels, and mirrors reflected both art and science, the marriage of beauty and purpose in metal. Brushes traced the flow of nature on silk. Mountains, rivers, and mist became lines of thought, painting not what was seen, but what was felt. Porcelain bloomed from fire, white as snow, thin as air. From Jing to Zhen, its fragile perfection crossed seas, carrying China's name to distant worlds. Music flowed from strings of silk and bamboo. In their melodies lived the seasons, the laughter of spring, the solitude of winter, the calm between breaths. From water wheels to compasses, invention followed observation. The ancients watched stars and seasons, turning curiosity into creation, blending science with the rhythm of the earth. On silk roads and sea routes, invention became connection. Silk, paper, and porcelain crossed continents, weaving east and west into a tapestry of shared destiny. Dynasties rose like dawn and faded like dusk. Each emperor's dream carved its mark upon the land, where palaces grew and time recorded both glory and grief. The Qin united the warring realms with iron and vision. Roads stretched like veins across the land, and the Great Wall became the spine of a newborn empire. Han built upon that strength, sending silk and scholars westward. Their caravans carried not just trade, but knowledge, spreading China's spirit to the edges of the world. The Tang dynasty opened its gates to the world. Chang'an pulsed with languages, silk, and song, a city where all roads led to culture's golden heart. Under the Song, wisdom turned to art. Painters, poets, and inventors filled the empire with beauty and brilliance, finding harmony between brush, compass, and mind. The Yuan brought the steppes wind to China's heart. Nomads became rulers, blending distant horizons into one vast, moving empire. The Ming rebuilt walls and wonders, red roofs crowned cities of order, and porcelain towers rose like prayers of symmetry between heaven and earth. Under the Qing, banners of blue and gold swept across the land. The empire stretched from the steppe to the sea, vast as imagination itself. Yet even in greatness, time turned its wheel. Dynasties fell as easily as leaves, and each ending gave birth to something new. Across the centuries, one rhythm endured, the people's strength, flowing like rivers beneath thrones and empires, carrying the soul of China through change without end. Beneath the shade of ancient pines, the sages spoke of balance, of yin and yang, of opposites that complete one another, forming the quiet pulse of all creation. Confucius taught that order begins within. In family, in respect, in duty, harmony ripples outward, binding people and heavens through the virtue of compassion. Laozi whispered that stillness holds strength. To follow the Tao is to flow like water, yielding, patient, yet powerful enough to shape the hardest stone. Zhuangzi dreamed of butterflies and woke unsure if he was man or winged soul, a parable of freedom that defied logic but revealed truth. In candlelit chambers, scholars debated heaven and humanity. Scrolls whispered with inked wisdom, and philosophy became a bridge between stars and soil. The teachings of Buddha crossed mountains and deserts, bringing peace to restless hearts. Temples bloomed like lotus petals across the land, sanctuaries for spirit and silence. Fusion of faiths shaped the heart of China: Confucian order, Taoist flow, Buddhist compassion, a trinity of balance woven into every life and moment. Poets turned thought into music. With brush and verse, they captured what speech could not: the sound of moonlight, the silence of falling snow. In meditation halls, breath became universe. The mind, once stilled, reflected the cosmos. Each inhale a rising sun, each exhale the return of night. Philosophy taught that greatness is not conquest but composure, the art of living lightly, walking with purpose, and leaving no footprints on the heart of the world. With every brushstroke, painters sought eternity, not likeness, but essence. Mountains breathed, rivers whispered, and empty space spoke as loudly as form itself. Poets wandered with wine and wonder, beneath moonlight and plum blossoms. They wrote of exile, love, and stars, each verse a heartbeat of the soul. Calligraphy became movement, a dance of ink and intention. Each stroke revealed the rhythm of thought, where philosophy met art in a single breath. In porcelain and jade, artisans captured heaven's symmetry. Their hands shaped eternity from earth, creating objects so delicate they seemed born of light, not clay. Music filled the gardens of scholars. Bamboo flutes, zithers, and strings sang of rain, wind, and longing. The sound of nature made human. Poetry became memory's lantern. Dynasties passed, yet the words of Li Bai and Du Fu still drift like distant music across the ages. The theater gave voices to gods and ghosts alike. Silk costumes shimmered, drums thundered, and painted masks revealed the beauty of transformation. Gardens became living poems, crafted with stone, water, and wind. Every bridge and leaf told a story of balance between the crafted and the wild. Literature captured the human spirit, tales of loyalty, love, and loss. From the romance of the Three Kingdoms to Dream of the Red Chamber, imagination became immortality. In every era, art reflected the heart of the people, their hope, sorrow, laughter, and grace. Through creation, they made meaning of the endless passage of time. Pagodas rose toward the heavens like prayers of stone. Each tier balanced symmetry and spirit, a monument not to power, but to peace. Bridges arched across rivers like poems in motion, stone and water intertwined, crafted to last 1,000 storms and carry countless footsteps home. Forbidden City gleamed with imperial design, red walls, golden roofs, and courtyards where power moved in whispers beneath the gaze of dragons. Suzhou's canals wound like silk threads through the city. Water, stone, and lantern light joined to form a portrait of living harmony. Great towers pierced the clouds, from ancient watchtowers to modern skylines. China built not only for shelter, but for vision, reaching ever upward in dream and design. Invention shaped destiny. From papermaking to printing, knowledge flowed like rivers, turning thought into legacy and spreading wisdom across the centuries. The compass pointed toward the unknown. With its needle came direction, and with direction came the courage to explore worlds beyond the horizon. Gunpowder sparked both fear and wonder, a discovery born of alchemy that transformed war, celebration, and the very light of the night sky. The Silk Road became the world's first web, carrying silk, spices, and stars of knowledge between East and West, connecting cultures in shared wonder. At sea, great fleets sailed beyond the edge of maps. Admiral Zheng, his ships bridged continents, carrying gifts instead of conquest, sails of peace beneath distant suns. In the countryside, life followed the rhythm of seasons. Plows cut through spring soil, and every harvest sang the promise of renewal. Families gathered beneath tiled roofs, sharing tea and laughter. In the warmth of shared moments, the strength of generations quietly endured. Villages were woven with community, neighbors helping, elders teaching, children playing beneath willow trees, where stories became memory. Festivals colored the year like music. Lanterns floated, drums echoed, and streets filled with light. Each celebration, a living bridge between past and present. Lunar New Year bound families across distance. Firecrackers bloomed against the dark, chasing away the old and welcoming the joy of a new beginning. Along misty rivers, fishermen cast nets with patient grace. Their boats drifted with the current, carrying the wisdom of centuries beneath bamboo poles and silent skies. In mountain villages, bells marked the day's passing. Farmers paused to watch the light fade, grateful for work, for rest, for the turning of time. Tea steamed like poetry in motion, poured, shared, savored. Within a single cup lay patience, purity, and the balance of the heart. Craftsmanship thrived in humble workshops. Weavers, potters, and woodcarvers shaped beauty with quiet devotion, finding art in the rhythm of their labor. Harmony was life's quiet law, not perfection, but balance. Within simplicity, the people found peace. Within tradition, they discovered eternity. Empires clashed like thunder over the plains, yet amid chaos, villages rebuilt and farmers sowed again, life proving stronger than the fire of war. The Great Wall bore witness to storms of invasion. From its stones echoed centuries of vigilance, where soldiers stood not for conquest, but for peace. The people endured famine and flood with quiet courage. From bamboo rafts to mountain terraces, they shaped survival into art, never yielding to despair. Rebellions rose like wildfires burning through injustice. Yet from every uprising came renewal, the cry of the people turning into the voice of change. Invaders crossed borders, but never conquered the spirit within. Even under foreign rule, poetry, faith, and song kept the flame of identity alive. The Mongol wind swept through the heart of the land. Out of it rose new exchange, of culture, of science, of a broader world view. Wars tested walls, but unity rebuilt them. The people learned that strength was not only in armies, but in hands working together. In every dynasty's fall, there was sorrow, but also rebirth. From ashes, new leaders rose, carrying the memory of the fallen as their compass forward. 19th century brought winds of change and pain. Cannons thundered along the coasts, yet within the struggle, a new consciousness was born. Through revolution and reform, the nation's heart beat unbroken. What endured was not empire or power, but the people's will to begin again. The old world trembled as the new began. Scholars, dreamers, and rebels sought a future where knowledge, not birth, would shape destiny. Steamships and telegraphs bridged distance and time. The hum of industry echoed through ancient valleys, where progress met memory in fragile balance. The Republic was born from hope and fire. Amid turmoil, voices rose for freedom, their echoes carried by wind through streets once ruled by silence. Writers and poets turned struggle into song. With ink and courage, they captured a nation's awakening, the rediscovery of spirit beneath the shadow of change. Amid hardship, the countryside remained the soul's refuge. Farmers, teachers, and children carried hope like seed, planting it again and again through war and hunger. The mid-century storms reshaped the land. From ruin came renewal, as the people learned to build, teach, and dream together once more. Voices of art returned. Painters, composers, and filmmakers gave color and sound to the nation's rebirth, blending ancient tradition with the rhythm of modern life. Cities rose like stories of glass and light. Highways replaced caravan trails, yet within steel and stone, the same river of time continued to flow. Science and wisdom walked hand in hand. From laboratories to observatories, discovery rekindled the same spark that once lit the bronze fires of invention. A new generation found strength in remembrance. Their future rose from the lessons of the past, a bridge of memory guiding them into light. From river to mountain, dynasty to dawn, China's heart has never ceased to beat, its rhythm carried by the hands, voices, and dreams of its people. The past is not lost but living, carved into bridges, whispered in poems, shining in the eyes of those who build tomorrow upon yesterday's grace. From bronze to silicon, from brush to screen, the same spirit flows, creating, adapting, and dreaming in the quiet strength of continuity. In every act of kindness, every melody, every field reborn, the ancient philosophy endures, harmony between heaven, earth, and the human heart. The Middle Kingdom stands not only in stone or empire, but in the way its people listen to the wind and find eternity in a single breath. As the sun sets beyond the mountains, its light touches every river, every soul. I hope you enjoyed this journey. Thank you for watching, and may the spirit of China live forever in your heart.